This is episode 156 of Shadow the Vein. We keep going. Episodes keep coming out. We're talking about worlds. We're talking about esports on this episode. So, fair warning if that's not your thing. We do talk about the news and a little bit of the stuff that was announced with the 5v5 mode towards the end. But in the beginning is all kind of what went down with London. Hopefully, there's a Halcyon report coming out maybe the next week or so that kind of maybe breaks all these games down a little more, gets a perspective from some of the players. So keep an eye out for that because I was just watching and enjoying these awesome teams playing on the Halcyon Fold. So really cool. Congratulations to all the teams that played, all the teams that made it there. Everyone played great. I'm sure there's some great sportsmanship by everyone. So definitely we spoil it. But if you open up Vainglory right now, it is spoiled and you get a big picture congratulating Cloud9 for winning the Unified Championships in London. So yeah, it's hard. We spoiled it. Vainglory spoils it. It's hard to not find out who won. But go back and watch some of these games. I mentioned that the Team Secret versus Gangstars, a fantastic game. Cloud9 versus TSM on day 3. Also a great game if you want to watch like a couple good, really good series and just see what these top level players are doing. Check those two out. I believe it's like 5 games for the Gangsters one. I think 4 games for the TSM Cloud9 one. But yeah, I want to mention the Patreon page before we get into this episode. That's at patreon.com/shadowthevein. If you can support the show, that would be awesome. Help me do other things. Hopefully, maybe get my ass to go to the London or the next championships, get out there and meet everyone and do some videos, do some content out there. So hopefully something like that happens next time. But I thank everyone for watching, listening, supporting the podcast, just leaving reviews, all that fun stuff. It means a lot. I love checking them out. I love hearing from everyone, especially when you guys let me know that something is wrong with the episode if it didn't link right. That's very helpful because sometimes I just miss stuff. So thank you, everyone out there that's been listening and watching for 156 episodes. Whew, that's a lot of episodes. So let's do it. Let's get into this week's show.
Shatter the Vein.
This is the 156th episode of Shadow the Vein. My name is Brad Chmielewski, and it's the podcast all about Vainglory. Every week, we try to break down the news, gameplay, game tips, and hopefully we can all become better players together. And every week, bringing on new people from the community, people that are hyped for this game. And this week, I'm bringing back Victor again. Welcome.
Hey, how's it going, Brad? Good to be on again.
Yeah, it's good to have you here, especially for someone like yourself that's watching all these games this weekend. This is, I think we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, I'm definitely sleep deprived, waking up at 5 a.m. 3 days in a row.
Yeah. So that's really probably what we're going to dive into a lot in this episode. So be warned, and be warned that we're both Gangstars members. So we're going to probably talk a little bit about Gangstars, maybe a little more than maybe some of the other teams. So just throwing that out there now. So a little bias, I guess. But yeah, let's just get right into it. This weekend on Friday, the Unified EU and NA championships took place in London, and the games on day 1, well, all the games took place so early. Like you just said, you were sleep deprived. And
Right, yeah. Especially here on the West Coast.
yeah, so I think they started at, was it 6 a.m. most days?
5 a.m. here on the West Coast. Yeah. They usually got going like around 5:30, I think, by the time they did their intros and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so here in Chicago, I usually miss the first, like, either set or first couple games just because I didn't set my alarm ahead of time, or like on the Friday games, it was like get to work and then I had them on in the other monitor. Cool, yeah. So day 1 was all those teams that didn't have the bye. They were kind of the lower seed teams.
Right.
And they were kind of broken up into the EU in the first 2 matches and then the NA one. So
AKA the EU handicap to get some EU teams into day 2.
Right, I guess. Is that what that was for? If they would have just
yeah, they wanted to make sure they got some EU teams into day 2 there.
All right, that would have been sad, if they would have did that. Everyone flies to London and then no EU team gets to day 2.
I know, right?
So, but yeah, so day 1, I think my favorite game, favorite match was the Gangstars versus Tempo Storm, because this one kind of, if Gangstars didn't pull this off, they didn't have a chance. But if they did pull this off, which we saw throughout this, they were going to go all the way. I felt it. Like, if they could just get past Tempo Storm.
You thought that would be the toughest matchup?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They hadn't
I
really
guess
played
expectations were tempered.
Yeah.
yeah, based on the ending of Split 2.
Right. What'd you think about this game? I felt like Gangstars came in with like a fire in them here. They like didn't let up.
Well, I mean, I thought it would be closer, but I wasn't surprised that Gangstars pulled it out. I had Gangstars coming out of that match. Some gamesmanship early on, because I know all the talk was that Hyde was not going to be out there. That turned out to be kind of a troll on his part. Even to the point of like that day that everyone was there, that's when pictures of him actually being in London started coming out. Okay. So it seemed like the whole thing about him tweeting, "Oh, I'm not gonna make it," and seemed to be a little. I don't know if it was a troll or trying to maybe throw Gangstars off or what that was about.
Oh, so that was what Dragonborn's kind of tweet was about. I don't know if you saw that. He was like, Vainglory should announce who's gonna be there, like, so we don't have this like trolliness that's happening.
Yeah, that was part of it for sure. Yeah. And then once that happened, then everyone thought that Starting was actually there also, and then Starting had to jump on Twitter and be like, "No, I'm not. I'm really not there." Okay. But the games themselves, yeah, you're right. I mean, Gangstars came out it was the Gangstars team we kind of saw in Split 1. Mm-hmm. Where there was just they were dominant, they were decisive, and they just basically rolled through Tempo Storm.
Yeah, and I think, I wish they would have played like this all that second half of the split, because then they would have probably had that bye on day 1 and had a little less to worry about. Like, I think they just misstepped in, I guess, the second split of the season. So it's kind of nice to see them kind of regroup after maybe that couple-week break and kind of realize, like, yeah, we can do this.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Then also a really interesting game that I think surprised everyone, the series between Hammers versus Immortals. So this Immortals lineup here was almost totally different. A team that really hadn't been playing together. Sue Generous had to come off the desk and jump into that jungle / captain role, depending on who's playing what.
/ analyst.
/ coach.
Get on the desk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually had Immortals winning this match also. I had them coming out of there because, I mean, neither team had their starting roster. Starting all over not being there was definitely a huge hit to Hammers. Mm-hmm. And then, so the dark horse there really it's kind of the two subs. So it comes down to Sue Generis for me versus Max Green. And I just can't pick against Sue Generis in that instance. Like you said, him juggling between going into the jungle, going into captain. Yeah. So the flexibility there was great for Immortals.
And he knows all these teams. Like, he was coming in, like, if he's had to watch them all because he's been on the desk, so he knows and has analyzed them probably deeper than some of the other teams have had, who are just kind of like, all right, we're focused, we need to play against these kind of people. But he's looking at like the bigger picture of stuff, so that's cool.
Right? Yeah. Tasty Bacon mentioned that when they were talking about the game before it got going, and he was saying, Sue Generis during the split was basically predicting every single draft pick for all these teams. Uh-huh. So yeah, he kind of, I think, was on the same boat of Sue Generis being the dark horse there and the X factor that Immortals needed to get past that round 1.
Uh-huh. So that was really cool that they made it past this. I wonder what's going to happen with Sue Generis now that, like, is he going to be back on this team because it's like full time, because it's working out, they did pretty well, or is the desk calling him more? I feel like he's going to have to figure out where he belongs.
Yeah, exactly. Make the decision. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I think he'll probably end up sticking to the coaching role and managing the team somewhat. and then I don't know if there'll be tweaks to that roster or what's gonna happen with them. I mean, I think it's probably the longest standing roster in NA from back when they were in Hammers. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. It was kind of like almost a meeting of the teams again, the Velocity versus Kinetic. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
So they almost like knew each other too well to be going up against each other because they knew all the tricks probably. And
Right.
so that was kind of too bad for Hammers, especially coming off their big announcement with the Hammers Hollywood and all that stuff. So I think if they would have maybe got a little more buzz, it could have been good for them. But yeah.
True. Yeah, I mean that was an exciting announcement. I mean we're talking almost like what they're Hollywood Hammers now. It's like they have a city behind them almost, like a regular sports franchise, like Los Angeles Lakers. That's how you know the Lakers, as Los Angeles Lakers. Now it's Hollywood Hammers.
Right. That's good. That's crazy. When you're gonna go to Hollywood and see like Hammers merchandise in like random travel stores, that's gonna be nice.
Right.
Like I knew him when it was just everyone was on Discord or on TeamSpeak even.
Right.
That's cool. So did your predictions for day one go as you thought in your
Yeah.
bracket?
Yeah. My bracket stayed perfect past day one.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
And then going into day two, Gangstars had to face up against Team Secret, which was the ones they're the 1 seed or they're the 2 seed of EU, I believe, right?
Secret, I think, was yeah. Two.
So these were some hard fought games for Gangstars. I don't know, they didn't have the fire that they had from day one. They were playing great, but it seemed like there was a lot more missteps and maybe just I don't know what was getting to them. But they ended up winning, but took it to all 5 games, I believe.
Yeah, they did go to game 5. Full disclaimer, when filling out my bracket, I had to take my heart out of my bracket, and I actually did pick Secret. But when I chose Secret, I was under the impression that Leon would be there.
Okay.
Not to take anything away from Tricky or I Am the Doom, but I mean Leon is
He's
just on another
good.
level.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is a really good player that can also play all roles, play any hero. So I anticipated them having a tough time in this matchup. I mean, I anticipated them losing, really. Sorry, Gangstars.
Oh.
Yeah, but I mean, the series itself, game 1, they rode through Team Secret. That was when Zeno pulled out the Cruel.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the game where he went, I think, 6-0, and I forgot how many assists. He didn't die in that game.
Yeah, that was the first one, right?
That was game 1. Yeah, that was the first Cruel. That was
Then they went
the two-sided Cruel.
Yeah, then they went Cruel again, which was almost like, this works so well, let's do it again.
Yeah, but the difference, which the analyst has pointed out, is that the second time they chose him on side A, so it wasn't a surprise to Team Secret, so they were able to counter the Cruel, and they also went with the more utility Cruel in the second match, where he's building, the Storm Crown and the Aftershock type of build.
Okay.
So it's not the same Cruel as Zeno was playing in game 1, so definitely didn't have the same effect. I don't even think he got any kills in that game.
Yeah.
And then they went down 2-1. So they were on the verge of, unfortunately keeping my bracket intact and finishing their tournament early.
And I think that was that third game that Zeno was on Glaive, on the cooldown Glaive, which is not a hero. Like, no discredit to Zeno, but he plays these heroes that are like more assassin, like Blackfeather and Kashka.
Yeah,
and
exactly. Yeah, I mean,
Glaive
he said it himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said it himself when they interviewed him after they ended up, reverse sweeping the match, and they won in 5. And then when they talked to Zeno after the match, he said it himself. He's not 100% comfortable on the utility junglers. Like you said, he's more of that assassin, Kashka, Blackfeather, the Grumpjaw that he pulled out in most of the games.
Yeah.
That's where he seems to be more comfortable, and it definitely shows in the gameplay.
Yeah, and I think Team Secret kept Blackfeather away from Zeno in all these games too, right?
Yeah. They were definitely banning the Kashka and the Blackfeather. Yeah, and it seemed to be the theme of most of the weekend was to ban against Zeno. I mean, and you could see why. I mean, when Zeno is on, he's up there with the best junglers in NA, maybe in all regions.
Yeah, and I think Team Secret was pulling out the Baron in these, and you watch Baron just melt teams. Like it's disgusting to watch. It's like, oh my god, why'd you let him have him?
Yeah.
But,
Right.
But it was nice they were able to pull out that win on the 5th game. This might have been one of the only series. There was only a handful that went to all 5 games. So
Right.
this was nice to see. It shows that the teams were very well fought and, on the same page. And, that was pretty cool to see. And Gangsters made it through. So your bracket got messed up, but, our team made it.
Perfectly fine with my bracket being destroyed. I even tweeted out, I'm happy with my bracket being gone. I'd rather have Gangsters move through. Definitely prove me wrong.
Yeah. All right. And then G2 actually pulled it off, and they were the EU team.
The historic win.
Yeah, to come to make it to day 3. This was a surprise.
Yeah, it definitely was a surprise, but I mean, to put it in perspective, it was the number 1 EU seed versus the number 6 NA seed.
Yeah.
Not to take anything away from Immortals, but it baby steps, I guess, for EU. They hadn't won any matches. Now they got their first.
Yeah.
Baby steps.
And Immortals, they played hard on day 1, and trying to do it again and have that same magic come through, it was going to be tough for them.
Definitely, yeah, for sure.
And then SK had some hype going into the finals, and I think for some reason they won. They didn't win here. They just I don't know. People thought SK was gonna pull it all off.
Yeah, I don't know if I guess most of it had to do with SK had the veteran lineup. If you think about it, I mean, when you're in your 20s, you're a veteran in the MOBA community.
Yeah.
So they definitely had one of the, I guess, what people would consider maybe more mature, more experienced rosters of the EU team. So yeah, you're right. They had hype behind them, but again, their first day matchup was against Mouse Sports, I believe.
Yeah.
And Mouse Sports was in there because 2 of the EU teams couldn't travel.
Okay.
So that's how Mouse Sports ended up there. So it was, not to take anything away from Mouse Sports, but it was almost a challenger team for them on day 1.
Right. So they had a very easy day 1, and then day 2 going up against Cloud9.
Yeah.
The team that's basically unstoppable.
You're right.
So, yeah. But if SK would have beat Cloud9 here, I think we would have had a very different final because Team Secret would have taken down SK more than likely, and then we probably would have seen Gangsters versus TSM in the finals.
True. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, it would have been a whole different. But I mean, Cloud9, like you just said, it was an unstoppable team. They came to London with one goal in mind, and they definitely, they were showing everyone what their plan was.
So it was awesome. So and then on to game 3, and these were the Gangstar games that I kind of missed, and I caught the last one. I need to go back and watch the first couple here of Gangstars versus G2, but they crushed G2 here.
Yeah, yeah. We saw the day 1 Gangstars team back. After we were talking about struggling with Team Secret, they just rolled through G2. I mean, it was almost like not even a worthy matchup at some points.
They were like, we need to play as little games here so we can prep for the next
right,
series.
Yeah.
That was probably the thought. How quickly can we get out of this so we can watch the Gangstars C9 versus TSM games. So that was cool. Yeah, I'll have to go back and check those out because those are the main games I missed.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Rekt played out of his mind in those games. I mean, as a captain main, it was just awesome to see Rekt out there getting kills with Lyra sigils and getting people that thought they were getting out, getting that one last Lyra. You give Rekt Lyra, you're asking for some trouble.
Right. Yeah. And then the other match happening before the finals was TSM versus Cloud9, and I know a lot of people had TSM going all the way. They thought. I think
every bracket had TSM except for they tweeted out there was a perfect bracket, so there was one person that believed enough in C9 that they were going to beat TSM. So yeah, everyone talked about it all weekend. TSM is the favorites.
Yeah, and Cloud9, they showed up and they pulled out I think this Captain Baptiste was maybe the only like kind of strange pick of the weekend that C9 pulled out, and it was pretty interesting. I haven't really tried Captain Baptiste, but it worked out so well.
Well, if anyone was gonna do it and put an unorthodox captain in the game, it would be Gabe Bizzle. I mean, we're talking about the guy that's played Vox as captain and won.
Yeah, and Taka as captain.
Yeah.
They didn't
Well,
win
let's
that,
not talk
but-
about Taka. Taka. Let's not discuss the Taka. The
But
Taka.
it happened, yeah.
It happened, yeah. I mean, Gabe is one of those just naturally gifted players that he can play anything. I mean, going back to a few seasons ago, he became a jungle main, when he was on Hammers, and he that guy can do it all. He's practically a third carry out there for his team.
Yeah. So yeah, they knew how to play that. They knew how to play against TSM, which, C9 and TSM probably played some of the most games. So they had over the split. So they had so much footage to watch, so much stuff to kind of see what's happening, and just shutting down Von C was kind of their focus. Because if Von C doesn't get going, he's not dangerous.
Yeah, it's definitely a different TSM team, and it's easy to say, shut down Von C and you win, but it's not easy to do. Not anyone can just go into a game and say, "Oh, we're gonna shut down." You can say it, but executing it is the hard part, because Von C is just a lot of the times he's on another level.
So yeah, these games were not as close as I thought they were, but it put TSM or C9 like going into the finals. You're just like, oh yeah, Gangstars is in for some trouble here.
Yeah, because after it's hard to say someone easily handling TSM, but Cloud9 easily handled TSM. Those games weren't even close.
Yeah, and Gangstars, even throughout the whole split of the season, they had a hard time facing TSM and only took off, I think, one game, maybe 2 games from them the whole time.
I think it was 1 or 2 games between the 2 splits. Yeah, it was. They definitely were struggling. I mean, to be honest, I don't think, if we're realistic, I don't think there were many people in Gangstars or outside of Gangstars that thought that this team would even be in the finals. So,
right.
but the guys played out of their minds and got to the finals. But with TSM or Cloud9 coming out of that semifinals, it was definitely even harder to see them winning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Cloud9, they destroyed Gangstars. Like, Gangstars put up a good fight in the 3rd game, but that first game, it was like, was it over in 11 minutes? I think it was over so fast.
All 3 games were over very fast. I mean, the 2nd game is the one where Gangsters didn't even get any kills. That was someone said it on the desk, except for Xeno stole Goldmine once.
Right.
That was about the highlight of game 2. Other than that, they didn't even leave their side of the jungle from beginning to end. Cloud9 just dominated that 2nd game.
And that was the only game I think Xeno got to play Blackfeather, so they kind of let it through, and they dealt with it.
Well, game 1, they let Koshka through. They said, "You know what, Xeno, take whatever you want.
Yeah, we're not worried about you.
We're not worried about it." Yeah.
Ouch,
That was tough.
But man, it's kind of disappointing that these games weren't closer, because you always kind of want the finals to go to the 5th game and just be this battle of like the 2 best teams. But it just showed that Cloud9 is they're steps ahead of everyone right now.
Yeah, I mean, the desk kept saying it. This was a super team that, and I think Gabe basically put together. Recruiting Old School to come over to Cloud9. I Love Joseph was already an established jungler. You put probably, I want to say, the best laner in NA on that team, with one of the top 3, if not the top captain.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a pretty good team.
Yeah. So, yeah, congratulations to Cloud9, and congratulations to Gangstars. They broke their 3rd place, curse, even. So now...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was hard to have Gangstars lose, but as an Old School fan, it was great to see Old School get his first championship. I mean, we've basically watched Old School grow up in this community.
Yeah.
I was mentioning on Twitter that I can still recall back when they were getting ready to go to Korea, which was the very first big tournament that Vainglory was going to have, the Korea World Invitationals. And Old School jumped on Zeno's stream. He was playing some games with Zeno before flying out, and they were on Discord together. And you heard this tiny little voice for the first time. It was this little kid, and the chat was just like, "Oh, who is that?" And then Zeno said, "Oh, that's Old School." And I was like, "What? That's Old School? That's Old School?" Like nobody could believe that this little kid was dominating so many people, and
Yes.
he's continued to grow.
And Gabe, and it's pretty awesome that Gabe Vizzle and Old School have both been in Gangstars. So it was like, I don't know, everyone's at this point's gone through Gangstars at some point.
Yeah, yeah.
It seems.
The Vainglory family tree usually goes through Gangstars.
Yeah. So yeah, and Gabe Vizzle winning another tournament now for him, so he might have like the most wins now or the most trophies. As a player.
I don't know. We'd have to check because I mean TSM Flash X has
Flash has a cup, maybe Flash has
Flash
three.
has Worlds. He's got
VIPL.
when they won in Korea. Yeah, he won in Korea. Did he win? Did they win Summer too? Yeah, right. They won in Seattle.
Oh, okay, so maybe
Yes, I think Flash
has his-
probably has the most. Yeah, I think so. And then, but Gabe definitely got closer.
So very cool. If you didn't watch any of these, like, I'd say go back and watch. I think the Gangstars versus Team Secret, and then the C9 versus TSM series. Those are probably, I think, if I had to pick two series to go with, those would be the two.
Yeah, for sure. They were definitely very competitive series. Yeah, especially the Cloud9 and TSM. Even though it wasn't too competitive, anytime you got those two teams going at it, it's always great to tune in to watch those games.
Mm-hmm. And so all these took place at the Fnatic headquarters in London, and you kind of saw the audience didn't look huge, right?
Yeah, that I saw a couple of when the camera would pan, it looked like they maybe had some extra seating that but you're right, it didn't look like it was as full as it could have been.
Mm-hmm. I did see, or Vane Shames Discord, we always end up chatting in there. He did mention that the area is broken up into 3 levels, so people were kind of spread out all over the place. And I know.
Okay.
I know sometimes at these events, Haney and other people try to get everyone in the same place because they want the camera to you want it to look good, you want it to look full. So, you never know how many people make it to these events. It's hard to travel for a lot of the NA people to make it over there. It's expensive. Most of them are in school. Most of them are kids. So.
Yeah. Although a lot of people did make it out there. There was definitely a lot of NA people out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It'd be interesting to see like when it's here in NA next time. I believe I've heard rumors that the next one will be in NA.
Yeah, I think they had talked about even before the season started that since they went to this new format, they were going to be alternating between EU and NA for these unified championships. What's going to be interesting to see is where Worlds is held this coming year. And,
Right.
See if that may be held somewhere else.
Yeah, so we know that Cloud9 they're automatically in. So I don't know.
Right.
know how you get in. Do you have to win the splits, and that gets you in? So there's 3 splits, or 3 seasons, so you get in, and then there's Worlds. I think that's how that's gonna work.
Right. Yeah. From what I know so far, Unified Championship gets you automatically in. So yeah, Cloud9 is in. There's gonna be one more Unified Championship in summer.
Yeah.
So the winner of that gets automatically into Worlds too. And I'm sure it's gonna work the same for the other regions as well, where whoever wins those other, I don't know if they're calling them Unified Championships or they're just VGA Championships in the other regions.
Not sure yet.
But yeah, I think those are automatic bids also.
Cool.
And then it'll come down to those last 2 splits when we're getting closer to Worlds, which I would imagine would be around the same time as last year in December sometime.
Yeah. Well, that's probably the one to go to if you're like can travel to any of these. Like,
yeah, if you're gonna save up for one.
yeah, go to Worlds and plan for that instead of like Although going to London seemed pretty nice.
Yeah, I mean, if you can do it, by all means, go to all of them.
Yeah. Well, then also on stage, we got a little bit of announcement, a little more info about what's coming for Vainglory, which is great to see. It seemed like we were going to get some sort of announcement. I thought we were going to get news on the franchises and who is a franchise partner, but that didn't come. So we still don't know that, but we got some stuff on the 5v5 maps. and some of the new heroes coming. What do you think of this announcement?
Yeah, well, like you said, yeah, I thought maybe we'd get a little bit more information on the franchise.
Yeah.
That's still up in the air since they mentioned it at Worlds. But as far as what they did show us, they showed us a clip of the temporary, I guess, the first draft, I would say, of the 5v5 map, which looked pretty awesome.
Right. So I think there's two different concept arts. So they were like, one, we've played with like a Storm Queen's battleground, like she's watching over everyone, and then the other one was like the basically the churn. I think is gonna be.
I think from how I understood it, the Storm Queen Coliseum, I think they called it, where she's just it's for her entertainment. I think that may be a brawl mode map, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Where
That makes
where
sense.
because brawl mode, entertain me, my subjects type of deal.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I think the bigger map, which you're more familiar with League of Legends than I am, but I believe it's the same. That's where Team Solo Mid's name comes from, right? There's a mid lane and two
And
outer
a
lanes.
top and a bottom lane. Yeah.
Yeah, because from what I saw, it looked like three lanes: the mid, and then the top and bottom, and then the two jungles. So that's kind of like the standard for MOBAs, right?
Yeah, it's got to be hard to come up with another way to do a 5v5 map that's not three lanes. Like how, I don't know, it's got to be tough. You'd have to have like two really big lanes. I don't even know. I'm sure they're trying different stuff to hopefully get something that's different that doesn't
Right.
feel like, oh, this is the League of Legends copy now.
I mean, at the end of the day, no matter what they do, you're gonna have those naysayers, because people just assume that that's what Vainglory is, basically.
Yeah.
Until they actually put it in their own hands and get to play it.
But yeah, the concept, that's all we have right now. We got to see like some little play tests, but really that didn't show anything, just kind of showed multiple heroes playing together.
Yeah. Yeah, just on some squares.
But it did sound like it's getting close, because it does sound like they will have something out by the end of the year. It kind of seemed like Ed the Shred was saying, like they're pushing for the end of the year. At least
Yeah, I
in
think
some
right now they're
fashion.
doing internal testing, and I think he said they're hoping for end of year, maybe doing some player testing with their
PB.
beta, with their
Yeah.
beta, yeah, their beta testers. So it looks like we were definitely getting close. Maybe even next year sometime.
And then we got a quick tease of the next hero called Grace, which looks like a girl version of Lance, right?
Yeah, that's the same thing I thought too. They did say that she is a protector, so she is going to be in that captain role also, I would imagine. But yeah, like you just said, and looking at her splash art, I mean, she looks like she's also going to be melee.
Yeah.
Because the weapon she's holding, but and I mean, you could speak more to this, being more familiar with MOBAs and how champions are usually designed on what abilities maybe she could potentially have that we don't currently have.
Yeah, she could have something that she could be someone that could like leap over walls with her like staff. Maybe she uses it as like a pole vault kind of thing. That could be kind of neat.
Okay,
I
yeah,
don't know.
interesting.
Yeah,
But yeah, like you said, it looks like it's a girl version of Lance.
Yeah. So I bet we'll see more of that. I don't think we're going to get her in update 2.5 because Ed said we're less than 2 weeks away, which means we will get info this week, and then the following week will be our update 2.5 on Wednesday, which I don't have my calendar in front of me, but yeah. So we're like a week.
Yeah,
and
I
a
think
half.
I think 2.5 is mainly going to be all about the charms that they're releasing,
The talents.
and the talents, yeah, and the skins that they showed too.
Yeah, the skins, yeah. That new Netherlight Lance legendary, right?
That one
looks
looked. Yeah, it did. I was excited for the Grump Jaw because it's already my screensaver on my iPad.
Oh, nice.
But then they showed that Lance, and my eyes definitely opened up.
And then there was also the Broken Doll Tier 3 Alpha, which isn't Tier 3, which is legendary right now.
Yeah, the one that in typical SEMC fashion they accidentally leaked when they sent out a tweet, and then Playoff said you didn't see anything. Quickly sent out a tweet.
And then there's one more. I'm forgetting what the last one was. There's the Kestrel one that we have coming, the Spider
Oh
Queen.
yes. The Spider Queen. Yeah.
So,
That one looks pretty cool too.
so-
Although some people in the community were saying that they could have definitely done more with her ability changes, maybe some spider webs instead of the normal animation for her arrows.
oh, that could have been neat, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's always tough. They gotta find that balance of like, well, if we put more time in this, we're gonna have to charge you more.
Yeah, now it's
so-
legendary, and then we get the people that complain that they're too much.
So, yeah, there's not enough cheap skins, but you guys want all these stuff in the game.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, so it's kind of that balancing act.
No, yeah, like Fuji says, sometimes you got to tell people what they want.
So I think that was everything that was in the little preview that's coming. I know we got to see a little tease of like the team sitting around the desk, and on their blackboard it was like 5v5 brawl modes and Corpus. I'm sure that was a fun little thing to put on.
Oh,
the
I didn't catch
board.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Corpus will forever be the running April Fool's joke.
Maybe someday they'll just bring him out and be like, here he is finally.
Here, finally, here, have him, community. You've been asking for him longer than you asked for a Pedal 3 skin.
I know, right? So yeah, get ready for all that info coming soon. Like I said, update will probably drop on Wednesday the 31st. So yeah, week and a half. So get ready.
Yeah.
I think that does it for episode 156. I don't know. We could probably keep speculating on these 5v5 maps and keep diving more into these games, but you know, we gotta play and get ready for the next update.
Yeah.
So Vic, thanks for joining me. Where can people find you? Get in touch on Twitter. I know you're tweeting and always interacting with the community a lot.
Yeah, you can find me at Victorious or at Victorious_VG is my Twitter. That's usually my main Vainglory social media. All my other stuff is mainly all family stuff. But yeah, so Twitter is my main Vainglory, or on the Gangstars public Discord.
Okay.
You can find me in there too.
Yeah, and you're ranking a lot too. I think you hit Vainglorious, right?
Yeah, I got back to Vainglorious today after Worlds. You always get inspired after Worlds, after the Unified Championship. You always get inspired to go play right after. You know, go try what the pros are doing.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, so I was ranking with Joshua, my 2-year-long teammate.
Wow. Yeah. So congrats on that.
He's like a stepchild at this point. He's my virtual stepchild.
Very cool. Yeah. So awesome to see. Well, everyone should follow you up. I'll include a link in the show notes in the description as well. So check that out.
For sure.
Shadow the Veins on Twitter at Shadow the Vein. Website shadowthevein.com. All the episodes are posted there. Links to iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube. So we'll be back with 157 next week with hopefully more info on 2.5 and everything else that's coming. So get ready for that. Take care.
Let's get this over with.